Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Ramir Johnson off to the right. They turn, give it off to Ramir, left side, comes back at the 5. He's in! Touchdown, Nebraska! Ramir Johnson's third rushing touchdown of the year. Snap back, play action, steps, throws, ball deflected up in the air, intercepted, picked off, rumbling down the sideline is Luke Reimer inside the 5. He's inside the 1, out of bounds around the 2. Luke Reimer with a terrific INT, and the Huskers get the first turnover of the game. Van Treese now sends a man in motion. They turn, they flip it off to McDuffie, trying to race to the edge. Gets around JoJo Doma, but can't get around Nick Henrich. He'll go down. He'll lose 3 yards, back to the 23-yard line. What a play by Nebraska. Lines up as a wing to the right. Allen, the tight end to the near side. 2 wideouts to the right, 1 in motion. It's Lever. Gets the shotgun snap, gives it off to Marquis, step left side. He leans, he dives, he's in. Touchdown, Nebraska.
Here's your host, Jessica Coody, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Well, happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome into Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody, and our final live show of the night, or of the week, is we will have another encore presentation coming up for you tomorrow. And man, this week just flew by, but we got a fun show coming up for you here over these next couple of hours. We're going to hear from Chancellor Brewington here in a few minutes. We'll have our final women's basketball newcomer, the 3 that they brought in. We've heard from 2 of them. We'll hear from the final one, Callan Hake, here in this first hour. And Brie Hoffman, man, what a great family the Hoffmans are and have been, and they've been so special to this Nebraska athletics department. And so we're going to hear from her here in just a little bit. And then in hour number 2, we're going to have some fun with Huskers defensive back Javier Morton. He's going to join us. He wants to potentially get into broadcasting. And so, he had asked me and Andrew when we had done some interviews a few weeks ago, hey, is there a way I can get involved? And I said, hey, when Greg is gone here in July, we'll have you on the show and you can co-host with me. So he's going to be here in hour number 2. We'll have some fun with that. So a big show coming up for you here today. Not a lot of news, not a big news day, but we do have the NHL draft that is underway on ESPN. Of course, if you missed it last night, Rutger McGroarty, a Nebraska native, potentially could hear his name called tonight in the first round of the NHL draft, which would make him the highest drafted Nebraska native ever in the history of the NHL draft. So we'll keep a close eye on that and I'll let you know as soon as we hear that name called. Even if he goes to the second round tomorrow, he will still be the highest drafted Nebraska native ever. And, he has said, you heard him say last night, it's important for him to be an example that, hey, you don't have to go to a hockey-dominated area to make it to the big time. So best of luck to him. And if you missed that interview last night, it's up on our Huskers Radio Network podcast page. But the NHL draft underway now. And earlier today, there was a press conference held and talking about the Aer Lingus College Football Classic. So some of the key notables that were released today are about 9,000 Husker tickets that have been sold. Let me pull up my notes here. About 9,000 Husker tickets, Nebraska tickets, and 3,000 or so from Northwestern, which that was the projection all along from the folks in Ireland. They knew that to get this thing sold and have the most fans possible, that it was going to be a lot focused towards the Nebraska fans because of how well they travel. So right now, about 9,000 Nebraska tickets sold, and they are hopeful that they'll get to over 10,000 before this thing is all said and done. The stadium holds around 47,500 fans. That's for a football setup. And, if you've listened to Sports Nightly here over the course of these last few days, and we've talked about it a few times here, the stadium holds a lot of different events. They do concerts, they do rugby, they do soccer, they do lacrosse. And so the football setup in itself holds 47,500, and they hope to have about 75% full. They'll be 75% full is what they're hopeful for that game coming up. They also released the schedule, what they'll be doing, and so it's kind of like a bowl game. That's what the representatives had presented it as, that it will be like a bowl game itinerary. They'll have a few events to go to every night. And one of the events that are scheduled, a team dinner at Epic, and it's an Irish Immigration Museum. This is one of the places that I went to when I traveled there back in November, and this is pretty cool. And you can, if you have any Irish descent, you can go there and track it and find out exactly where your family came from, all of the information about that. They have people that are designated to help you dive into that. But it also just takes you through all the different immigration, the Irish that have immigrated and gone on to do big things in the United States that have Irish descent. It was really cool. I thought it was pretty fascinating. So again, one of those things, if you're looking for something to do, you might put that on the list. And they've won several awards as one of the best tourist attractions, one of the best museums in all of Europe. And so it's really well done. They have a lot of cool interactive displays that you can be a part of. And so, so the team will have a dinner there one of the nights. And, if you're worried about maybe, it's going to be a distraction. Well, the thing is Northwestern is doing all of this too. So both teams, again, it's just like a bowl where both teams are having these events that they have to go to and, experience Ireland. And I think a lot of these players are really, really excited about it. It seems to be the consensus when we've talked to a lot of them about, getting to go to Ireland. Not a lot of people have the opportunity to get to do that. I certainly wouldn't have, without this opportunity, this game being played there. So the players are excited. But all that aside and the funness of being in Ireland, they do know that they got to go take care of business over there and the importance of this game. So, yeah, there you go. There's some numbers on that. About 9,000 currently Nebraska fans set to travel, and hopefully that number will increase. So going to be a home game. They announced, too, that it's going to be 11:30 game on Fox here in the States, but 4:30 over there in Dublin. So it will be on Fox. So there's a big opportunity to be seen by a lot of people on a national broadcast there. So 11:30 on Fox. I will be you can tune in here on the States, and then they'll fly back right after the game and get right back to it. Sundays a lot of times is a recuperation day, get back, treatments, all of that, and then they'll get back to practice and try to get that body readjusted after the time change for being over there for about a week. So good numbers there. And we wanted to continue having our conversations with our football players, our summer catch-ups. And today we're going to hear from the tight end, Chancellor Brewington, 6'3" senior tight end. He transferred here from Northern Arizona. He was a wide receiver, but you'll recall last fall there was some injuries to Austin Allen, Travis Vokalek, and so they moved Chancellor Brewington over to that tight end position. And now he's in that room with Sean Beckton. And I thought this is fascinating. You're going to hear him talking about Coach Whipple and how Coach Whipple is going to utilize the tight end in this offense. That was one of the first things Travis Vokalek had said once he got to know Coach Whipple a little bit. So expect to have these tight ends heavily involved in this offense. So Chancellor Brewington played in 10 games last year, caught 3 passes for 20 yards and a touchdown. And here is my interview with Chancellor right now. How's it going? How's the summer been?
It's going good. Just, training the body and just training the mind and make sure everything's sharp.
As a guy that was here last year and, a lot of new faces to the offense, a lot of new coaches and players, how did you feel about where this offense was when spring ball ended?
With the new coaches, a lot of intensity has come. But I would say as an offense, we're gelling well, and we're probably the tightest group we've had since I've been here.
What's, the process like now? What are you guys doing now, and what's the schedule look like for you guys?
Yeah, so we'll work out in the morning, and then we'll do, since the rules have changed, we get a little bit more time with the coaches. So we'll do a little bit individual drills, and then we'll come back later in the day, and we'll run, and we'll add on some position meetings here soon.
So I know you missed a little bit of spring. How you feeling health-wise?
Great. Ready to go.
So I know in last year, one of the big storylines, you were wide receiver, tight end, you filled in there. Yeah. You're listed as a wide receiver, tight end. What are you? Are you both?
I'm in the tight end room, so I'll be mainly with Coach Beck. But with this offense, tight end is going to be so versatile, so sometimes you won't even know what I'm playing,
Why was that? Why were you okay with that, kind of stepping into that role when the team needed it last year?
Guys went down during camp, and that was the best way I could help the team out.
What do you like about the tight end position as opposed to the wide receiver?
It's probably the most versatile position on the field. You have to be in line with the tackles and the O-line schemes, but also you have to be able to catch passes and work off defenders.
And Travis Vokalek has talked about that, like you guys as a group want to be a little bit the leaders of this offense and try to help set the tone, because you got a lot of old guys that have been around and played a lot of football. How important is that for you as well?
It's very important. We got a lot of young guys in the group, a lot of young guys in the offense, new guys. So we have to make sure the terminology is there and that they know what they're doing.
How excited are you about the potential of this offense?
Very excited. We watch Pitt film every day, and we're getting the concepts down, and we're seeing how explosive their offense was with Kenny Pickett and the wide receiver Addison, I think it was. But yeah, the offense is explosive. I can't wait.
You had mentioned, the versatility. How did you get to that point where you could be such a versatile player? Because not everybody can do all of those kinds of things.
Watching a lot of film and listening to detail. That's the biggest thing. If a player can just tune into the details, then they can do what the coach is telling them to do.
What about the blocking aspect of it? Was that something that you had to learn a lot last year?
Oh, 100%. And even I'm still learning now, but this spring really helped me, just being able to watch the drills and really understand the full concept behind them.
I know a lot of people love the way that you helped out in that area last year. How exciting was that to see people appreciated that part of your game?
It's been crazy. Like, I remember after certain games, like, I get crazy messages talking about, like, oh, I love it. But I appreciate it. I see them as supporters, so I love it.
Why do you like that part of it? It's not always the glory part of it.
No, yeah. I just think it's just being nasty and just doing whatever you can do to help your team win.
And then where do you feel like your game could take a step this year?
I know for sure in the passing game I'm going to be able to show off what I can do there. But also, the lead blocking stuff, we got a lot of good stuff in. So.
Back in January when Casey had first got here, I saw you guys in there by yourselves throwing some balls and getting some work in. How important was that for you? Why was that important for you to put in that extra work even before you guys started doing anything team-wise?
Yeah, so when Casey first got here, me and him, I was the first person to throw with him. I made sure I got on the field with him, but he's a great athlete, a great football player, and the more work we do before season, that's how we win.
You mentioned Coach Beckton. How great is he to work under? It seems like all the tight ends talk about how he helps you develop as a player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could go on and on about Coach Beckton, but really I would just say he cares about you as a person, but the details in the film room and on the field are impeccable.
And then not only are you tackling football this summer, but you're also launching a new side endeavor. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we have a radio show and a podcast called What's the Word? The concept behind it is really just trying to bridge the gap between fans and football players. I feel like we always have our helmets on. We look like superheroes out there, but really we go through the same type of stuff as everyday human beings.
All right, and where can people find it or follow you or give us all the details?
Yeah, it's at What's the Word on Twitter. We did our first episode with Caleb Tanner. It's the whole cast is me, Javen Wright, and Noah Pulligate, so all AZ guys, yeah.
So we were giving Caleb a hard time because he would not do interviews. He just did one today. So are you to thank for breaking the door down of him doing interviews?
I think so, and it's going to be cool. You guys are going to see a unique side of each player, especially Caleb.
Okay, so what's the goal for this summer? What do you need to do to be ready to come fall camp?
Gain some weight. I'm about 224 right now. I'm trying to get about 230 and just be explosive. That's really my goal.
Appreciate your time.
Of course. Thank you.
So in that conversation with Chancellor Brewington, you heard him talking about Coach Whipple and this offense and the way that Coach Whipple is going to utilize the tight end. So it got me thinking about what Coach Whipple did at Pitt with those tight ends, and he uses a lot of the tight ends. In fact, 2 tight ends he used very heavily. Lucas Kroll, Gavin Bartholomew combined for 768 yards and 10 touchdowns. And, if you look at the 8 players on Pitt's statistics from a year ago in their offense, they had 8 players that caught 23 or more receptions. 2 of those players were tight ends. 2 of those players were running backs. And that's another key theme that you're hearing again from the running backs is the opportunity to be able to catch the ball as well. So comparing that to Nebraska's offense, they had 3 players that had more than 23 receptions. Omar Manning had 26, Austin Allen 38, and Samori Toure had 46. So you have 8 players with 23 or more, and 2 of those tight ends, 2 of those running backs. So gonna utilize those players in whichever way he can. And Sean Beckton said that in the spring, that Coach Whipple is designing some ways to get the ball in those tight ends' hands and how he can utilize those guys. And obviously going to have to be able to help there on the blocking game as well. Some offensive linemen being shuffled around. Got to think they'll help out there, continue to help out there as well. But Coach Whipple loves the tight end, and Travis Vocal, that was one of the first things that he said when he met with Coach Whipple is that we're going to use the tight end. And so I know those tight ends are really excited about what they could potentially bring to Coach Whipple's offense here coming up really shortly. 51 days, I was told today. 51 days. So that will be fun to see. All right, we have lots to get to here in this show, so we're going to take a quick break. But up next, we're going to hear from Brie Hoffman and her perspective on what the Nebraska Road Race means to her family, to the state of Nebraska, to kids that are battling pediatric brain cancer. Loved getting to chat with her, so you'll want to stick around for that. And if you want to make sure and get those tickets secured to see Coach Whipple's offense coming up here soon, you can get a 3-game mini plan. They're customizable. Huskers.com/tickets, $180, and you can choose from games in each of these 3 groups: North Dakota, Georgia Southern in September, in October, Indiana or Illinois, November, Minnesota or Wisconsin. That seating is located in the north and south end zones. So again, Huskers.com/tickets. Also, that went on sale yesterday were those single game tickets too. So if you want to have a 3-game mini plan, you can get those for $180, or you can log on now and get those single game tickets right now on Huskers.com/tickets. All right, first break here on Sports Nightly. Brie Hoffman up next.
Welcome to Ag Answers, where we answer common questions related to farming and ranching. Today's topic, animal agriculture. There's been a lot of talk suggesting that giving up meat is good for the environment. However, livestock emissions only account for less than 4% of greenhouse gas emissions, according to the Environmental Protection Agency. Also, by reducing meat in your diet, you're missing out on all sorts of beneficial nutrients like protein, iron, and zinc. This message is brought to you by Nebraska's corn and soybean farmers.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. During the summer of 2021, 3 UNL students helped safeguard cattle across the state. Neely Anderson, Tatiana Jones, and Ashton Commons developed secure beef supply plans that prevent the spread of disease outbreak. The plans protect nearly 850,000 cattle across our state and provide greater economic security for this vital industry.
Hey Huskers fans, tomorrow join us for another encore presentation of Sports Nightly. We'll hear from Nebraska native and soon-to-be NHL draft pick Rucker McGorty. Brendan Frankie joins the show to talk Huskers kicking game, and then Angela Thacker will discuss her storied Husker career as she enters the Nebraska Hall of Fame. In Hour 2, we'll catch up with Jay Terry, who gives us the inside scoop on gearing up for Huskers game day. Brody Belt and Turner Corcoran finish out the show with Huskers summer football updates. Tune in to your local affiliate or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Woodhouse offers confidence as your trusted auto partner. With 18 brands and 16 convenient full-service dealerships, you can easily shop the latest models, discover a pre-owned vehicle that meets your list of must-haves, or conveniently maintain your current vehicle. And our knowledgeable and local team is ready to help, providing you the solutions to get you on the road faster, whether online at woodhouse.com or in person. Experience the difference with Woodhouse, a trusted auto partner since 1975.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey folks, this is Famous Dave. You know the difference between an ordinary get-together and a famous one? At most parties, the food's pretty forgettable. But imagine your table loaded with award-winning barbecue, chopped pork sandwiches, roasted chicken, and mouth-watering juicy ribs. From birthdays to corporate events, any size groups, we'll customize our menu to fit your budget. Make your next get-together fun and famous with catering from Famous Dave's. Visit famousdaves.com.
Hey Huskers fans, tomorrow join us for another encore presentation of Sports Nightly. We'll hear from Nebraska native and soon-to-be NHL draft pick Rucker McGorty. Brendan Frankie joins the show to talk Huskers kicking game, and then Angela Thacker will discuss her storied Husker career as she enters the Nebraska Hall of Fame. In hour 2, we'll catch up with Jay Terry, who gives us the inside scoop on gearing up for Huskers game day. Brody Belt and Turner Corcoran finish out the show with Huskers summer football updates. Tune in to your local affiliate or at huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we designed the Ford trucks of the future for everyone. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 45 years straight. Made for performance and capability on and off-road. Because the trucks of the future aren't designed for a few. They're built for America. Ford F-Series. Drive one today. Based on 1977 to 2021 calendar year total sales.
If there's one thing that you can count on every spring, it's that we're going to have to deal with some hail. J-Tech Construction is the company to call to make it right again. J-Tech Construction specializes in siding, roofing, windows, and gutters, even solar. They're trained for insurance claims assistance, and they can help with your insurance company. Turn to the team the Huskers turn to, J-Tech Construction. Use your favorite search engine to find J-Tech Construction online and schedule a free estimate today.
The Huskers provide the best on the field, and so does Kubota. The new Kubota L60 Limited Edition Series provides the best package for affordability, quality, and comfort, like the deluxe Grand L factory-installed cab or spacious open operator station. Maximize performance with Kubota's best-in-class HST Plus transmission and many other features of the L60 LE Series. Experience the Kubota difference. Visit NebraskaKubotaDealers.com or see Sandberg Implement in Gering or Dinkle Implement in Norfolk.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. We're quickly approaching the big road race, the Nebraska Football Road Race, a very special event that takes place every year. It's coming up on July 17th, and also going to be in attendance this year, which they are every year, the Hoffmans. And so we welcome in Brie Hoffman to give us her perspective of the importance of the road race. Brie, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk about the event.
Yeah, so this is something that has been going on now for years now. Over $300,000 have been raised for pediatric brain cancer. And I guess, first of all, let's just start with that right there, the pediatric brain cancer. I think a lot of people think, oh, we're raising funds for cancer, but specifically the need to raise funds for pediatric brain cancer. Why is that so important?
You know, we actually have a lot of kids in Nebraska with pediatric brain cancer. And I mean, if you don't know anyone that is diagnosed with that disease, you probably don't realize that. But we have a very high incidence of pediatric brain cancer. And there generally is not, a ton of money that is spent at the federal level on research for these kids because, I guess in general, it's considered a rare disease because there aren't that many kids diagnosed, but it is so important to raise money and do research to try to get better treatments, to hopefully have these kids lead a normal life.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, probably most people listening in and Nebraska fans all over know how much you guys and your family has meant to this athletics department. But for, again, the families and the kids that are battling this, how important is it that Nebraska football gets involved and wants to help give back to specifically pediatric brain cancer?
It's huge. It's amazing. The life skills program does a great job. They really get the kids excited about, things that are bigger than football. And it's just great to see them all come out. And I think they really enjoy, there's usually a few kids that are able to come, lots of families, there's lots of people that are there in honor of a loved one or in memory of a loved one. And it's just great to see that, they really want to make a difference for these kids. And we're so thankful that they continue to support this cause.
Yeah, and I know Team Jack, you guys raise all kinds of money and funding for this as well. But how important has that relationship been to helping continue to support Team Jack and what you guys were able to get launched in the first place?
It's pretty great. I think, as a college athlete, you probably don't quite understand the platform that you have. But just, Jack's run when he was 7, really launched awareness of the disease. I mean, it was such a crazy thing, but it was amazing, just what something like that can do to, and when you promote awareness of a disease, then that leads to funding. And that's, thankfully what we've been able to do is, use that to help fund research to help these kids.
Visiting with Brie Hoffman, and you mentioned Jack. How's he doing? Give us the latest update on him.
Sure, he's really doing great. He's going to be a junior this year, which is hard to believe. That's still Andy and I would always say it's a pinch me moment. When you have a child diagnosed with a brain tumor, you don't know. I mean, we didn't know if he would even start kindergarten. So the fact that he's going to be a junior is amazing. He does have a residual tumor, and he's on a clinical trial right now that, we're thankful has been able to keep his tumor stable, which is not growing. So that's the goal when you have a pediatric brain tumor, is to have a stable scan. So we're thankful for that. His tumor is in the temporal lobe, which is kind of a seizure hotbed. So we still struggle with occasional seizures, but, nothing that, it kind of sounds petty compared to what a lot of these other families and kids have to go through. So, it's just something that we have to deal with, and, hopefully they'll go away someday, but if they don't, we can definitely deal with it.
And Jack's going to be at the road race coming up on the 17th, right?
Yes, he's planning on it. He told me that he would prefer to walk rather than run, but he will be there. So, and then we have 2 girls, and they're planning on running too. So we're excited for the event.
Now that it's been over 10 years since he made the run, what is that? How does he look back on that now, and how much of an impact that's made, not just in his life, but in so many others, and bringing so much awareness to pediatric brain cancer?
I think it's kind of surreal for him. I think even watching it on TV now, I feel like, did that really happen? I think for him, he's had to grow up pretty fast. And I think anymore, if there's something that he can do to help other kids, he wants to do it. So I think in that sense, he's glad that, we were able to get so much awareness and, research money and help, other kids with pediatric brain tumors.
We've talked a lot about the research part of it, but also families that have to travel and stay, and it can be a lot for families to take on. So how important is that too, to help provide some resources for some of these families that are having to go through this with their young children?
One of our goals is to, really build a center of excellence here in Nebraska. And so, one of our main focuses, in addition to funding research, is to funding a pediatric brain tumor program, here in Omaha. It just requires so many specialists. Ideally you'd have a pediatric neuro-oncologist, a pediatric neurosurgeon, a pediatric neuroradiologist. The list is endless. And so that's one thing that we're really focused on, is trying to get, the specialists that these kids need, and develop, an awesome A-team here in Omaha. And I think we're well on our way. So we're definitely excited to, make it more accessible for especially our Nebraska kids to get care.
That's so awesome. What about for, families that are going to be able to come to the race and bring their kids out, and just to have a little bit of an escape, and to have an event to attend and go to? How much relief and help is that too, just to have something to go to and have a little bit of fun on a day?
It's really great. A lot of the families do come, and it's amazing to see all of the support. Here's this whole football team is here. Sometimes the volleyball team makes a cameo, helps with water stations, and all of the runners that come out to support. I think it just really gives these families hope, honestly. There are other people that, that care about our kids, and it's just, it's really amazing to see all of the support. And the football players, that's just a bonus. Who doesn't want to get a ton of autographs from these heroes, that all these younger kids look up to. So it's pretty great.
Absolutely. And you're talking about athletes that are here now that were pretty young when, Jack first made his run. But the fact that year in and year out, it just keeps getting passed down, and it's kind of a tradition now, and it means so much to this program. How special is that to see that even these new generations of football players are coming in for the first year and they can't wait to go to the road race and participate in the road race?
Yeah, that is amazing. You're right. A lot of these kids were probably fairly young when Jack did have his run, and so it is amazing that it's been kind of a like a program tradition, I guess, or it's becoming one, hopefully. And it is amazing that they continue to hold the event, and it does seem like the younger kids will really grasp onto it and participate and really get something out of giving back.
And for listeners that are listening in that might be on the fence, should I go? Should I participate? Give us your sell on why people should get involved in the road race.
Well, it's multiple reasons. If you're a Husker fan at all, I think it's a no-brainer. I mean, there is no better way to get up and close with the football players and interact with them. I mean, they're great. They're signing autographs and they're having fun. They're doing everything from running to cheering to handing out pop or water, or they're really all participating, and it's a great way to interact with the players. And then also just to make a difference, you got a bunch of college athletes that would rather be sleeping in on a Sunday morning, and they're all out giving back and trying to help these kids and raise money for the cause, and it's pretty inspiring. So it's also kind of I guess for me it's also a feel good moment that you're raising money to help the kids.
Brie Hoffman, appreciate your time. Great to see you, and been awesome to follow all the work that Team Jack has been doing. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys out there on Sunday, July 17th.
Sounds great. Thanks so much.
Thank you. And again, if you register before July 13th, you're going to be entered for a drawing for all kinds of great prizes, tickets, experiences, giveaways. So make sure you get signed up to attend either the 1 mile fun run or the 5K. Huskers.com/road race. Again, thanks to Brie Hoffman for joining us on our Woodhouse Auto Family Hotline. The Sports Nightly Hotline brought to you by Woodhouse Auto Family. Shop Woodhouse first. 18 brands, 16 convenient locations. Simplified car buying to save you time. Shop, finance, and buy online at woodhouse.com. More from Sports Nightly coming up right after this.
Let me grab my car keys and we'll roll.
We still going to that new bar downtown?
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun. Lexi, give me driving directions from home to downtown Bar District.
Autocorrect. Suggest Uber. Pick up, home. Drop off downtown Bar District.
No, I'm driving.
Suggest the Metro bus. Departing in 12 minutes.
Huh. Point taken, Lexi. We'll grab a ride.
If you drink, don't drive. Decide to ride. Brought to you in partnership by Anheuser-Busch, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and Uber.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Nick Henrich, and I invite you to join me and the entire team for the 10th annual Nebraska Football Road Race just outside of Memorial Stadium on Sunday, July 17th. Help us race for a cure for pediatric brain cancer by registering now for the 1 mile or the 5K by going to huskers.com/road race. New this year, those who register before July 13th will be in a drawing to win game day tickets and other exclusive Husker memorabilia and experiences. Thank you for supporting this incredible event. I look forward to seeing you on Sunday, July 17th. Go Big Red.
Hey folks, this is Famous Dave. You know the difference between an ordinary get-together and a famous one? At most parties, the food's pretty forgettable. But imagine your table loaded with award-winning barbecue, chopped pork sandwiches, roasted chicken, and mouth-watering juicy ribs. From birthdays to corporate events, any size groups, we'll customize our menu to fit your budget. Make your next get-together fun and famous with catering from Famous Dave's. Visit famousdaves.com.
Triple B Feed has the products to help your cows thrive. Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid minerals with protein or Redmond natural mineral salt for livestock or humans, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blahorn take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information and other products, visit triplebfeed.com. Triple B Feed, helping you and your cattle.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Welcome to Ag Answers. Today we're talking about renewable biofuels like corn ethanol and soy biodiesel. Electric vehicles continue to make headlines as we look for ways to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. But did you know by using ethanol, you can reduce greenhouse gas emissions by up to 46% compared to traditional gasoline and by up to 86% when you use biodiesel compared to petroleum diesel? Locally produced biofuels are the here and now solution to combating climate change. They are good for our air, good for our wallets, and good for Nebraska. This message is brought to you by Nebraska's corn and soybean farmers.
Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, Noddle Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. Noddle Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit noddlecompanies.com. Go Big Red.
Any lot, set, hut! Announcing the Nebraska Lottery's Lucky for Life ticket snap. Start to play by purchasing a Lucky for Life ticket by July 26th and enter the voucher number for a chance to win Nebraska football Skybox season tickets, regular season tickets, single game tickets, or a weekend football experience. It's our Lucky for Life ticket snap promotion, and it's 100 yards of fun. Lucky for Life top prize odds 1 in 30 million.
Hey Huskers fans, tomorrow join us for another encore presentation of Sports Nightly. We'll hear from Nebraska native and soon-to-be NHL draft pick Rucker McGorty. Brendan Frankie joins the show to talk Huskers kicking game, and then Angela Thacker will discuss her storied Husker career as she enters the Nebraska Hall of Fame. In Hour 2, we'll catch up with Jay Terry, who gives us the inside scoop on gearing up for Huskers game day. Brody Belt and Turner Corcoran finish out the show with Huskers summer football updates. Tune in to your local affiliate or at huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Let me grab my car keys and we'll roll.
We still going to that new bar downtown?
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun. Lexi, give me driving directions from home to downtown bar district.
Autocorrect. Suggest Uber. Pick up. Home. Drop off downtown bar district.
No, I'm driving.
Suggest the Metro bus. Departing in 12 minutes.
Point taken, Lexi. We'll grab a ride.
If you drink, don't drive. Decide to ride. Brought to you in partnership by Anheuser-Busch, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and Uber.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. As we welcome you back to this Thursday night edition of Sports Nightly, I'm Jessica Coody. Greg Sharpe on vacation, but he will be back next week. You just heard, well, I guess in the first segment you heard from Chancellor Brewington. That wraps up our football interviews that we had on tap for you throughout the month of June and into July. But coming up next week, we'll start hearing from those assistant coaches. And so you'll want to make sure you stay tuned for that because they were great. Greg said all of them were really great, and some of them very lengthy. So you got a lot of information headed your way, and crazy 51 days. And I was told today the report day, I think, is 26th, and then they'll start fall camp on the 27th. So we are right around the corner from this thing. Because like I've said before, to me, football season starts at, it's not when kickoff happens, it's when fall camp happens. So we are well under a month away from that, from football season getting underway with fall camp. And yeah, so the 27th is when that will all begin. All right, so we are going to let you continue to get to know the Nebraska women's basketball newcomers. Of course, we talked about the football team and their workouts throughout the summer. The basketball teams also are able to have some practices and some workouts throughout the summer months. The women's team have been off this week. They'll return back to those summer workouts on Monday, and so they're out for this week. But before they left, we got a chance to catch up with those three newcomers. We've heard from Maggie Mendelson and Maddie Kroll, and tonight we'll hear from Callan Hake, the 5'8" guard out of Victoria, Minnesota, one of the top players coming out of that 2022 class in the state of Minnesota. In her high school career, over 2,000 points, 500 rebounds. We had Amy Williams here on Sports Nightly a few weeks ago and asked her about those newcomers. She said Callan, again, is another one of those tough winners, but she is a three-point shooter, and that was a need for this team. And Greg and I had talked about that after the season ended. They needed to find a three-point shooter, a threat from behind the arc, and Callan hopefully will be one of those players that can step into that role and knock it down from the outside, and also is a fit for that culture, that chemistry, and fits right into this Nebraska women's basketball family. So we'll let you hear from Callan Hake right now. Welcome to Lincoln. How you settling in?
I love it here. Yeah, it's been a great home away from home for sure.
Well, we haven't had a chance to talk to you since you signed, so take us back to your decision. You committed back in 2020, why you felt like this was the right home for you.
Yeah, well, on my first unofficial visit, I came here and I told my parents once I left, like, this is where I was going to come. I did not commit for about a year and a half later. The environment, the coaching staff, and the girls are just the most genuine people I could ask for.
Was there a specific moment when you were here? Wow, we got some photos going on in the background while we're doing this. Was there a specific moment that made you feel like that clicked for you, or was it just the overall experience?
It was just the overall experience. You know, I came when they played Ohio State. ESPN Game Day was here, so they brought me to a really fun environment and really got to see like the Husker power and the red pride that this state carries.
From Minnesota with Sam Hybe, how special was that too, to have a fellow Minnesotan? Was that right, Minnesotan? Yeah, Minnesotan. To have one, someone that's from your home state that has done well here as well.
Yeah, I mean, Sam's had an incredible